welcome back! I am Lord Revonworc. This is Crusader Kings II as the Jewish Aztecs. Now, things aren't looking that good. At this point, basically, our best plan is to wait until we can raise enough troops that we can defeat these two separate rebel armies. Easier said than done, particularly because if I fight one of them, there will be troop depletion, which will make it harder to fight the other. Also, this one here in Ulster, I just realized previously I did a countdown to see how long it would take before this holding fell. Then I realized I want him to completely occupy Ulster, because while he's standing there, there's no way I can get to Ireland, since I have no ships, that would allow me to avoid getting a crossing penalty when I attack him. So I actually need him to move to Oriel. And we also need an army large enough that can defeat the Fraticellis and still be strong enough to defeat the Irish. And if I get an army that strong, it'll easily be able to deal with the Scottish. There's barely anything left of them. But anyways, at this point, it's basically just waiting. We have faction problems. They're really not that dangerous. They think they are. Well, they could cause some problems. But they're definitely not more than my levies combined. Besides which, once they revolt, this guy's barely going to contribute to the cause. But the Independence faction is close to activating. That'll be another group of jackasses I'm going to need to fight off that I don't think I can fight off, while I still need to wait for my personal levies to replenish more, which is going slowly. So this episode I'm going to see if I can do anything to hasten the rate at which that occurs. So first of all, you are in Lothian training troops, so you should be increasing the rate at which troops replenish in Lothian. Teviotdale actually doesn't have any negative modifiers for troop replenishment, it looks like. Guess it's just slow. I mean, part of the reason why I don't have as many troops as I could have is because I'm over the main limit a little bit, which happened when my wife died, because she was contributing to my domain limit. Now, there are a few ways I could get my domain limit back and thus get more soldiers I can raise. I could remarry, which is not exactly something I want to do at the moment. What with Victor being my only son, of course he wouldn't have a Wikipedia link, he's a non-existent person. I completely lost my train of thought. So I could remarry. I don't really want to, though. In fact, could I train my focus? No, not until this October. So I could go for war to increase my martial, which would boost troop regeneration, or I could go with something like rulership, so I could boost my stewardship and possibly get more domain limit. Well, okay, what's the formula here? So, stewardship bonus. I don't know how to do that. Another option is I could create another duchy title, which would when you hold 2 duchies, that makes you a Grand Duke, and Grand Dukes get larger domain than regular dukes. It would cost a lot of money, and part of my plan kind of requires that I hire this mercenary army, and I don't just need the money to hire them, I also need the money to maintain them. And it's almost 10 ducats a month, so like if I want to hire them and keep them around for, I don't know, let's say a year, I would need the 190 to initially hire them, plus an extra 120 to hold on to them for the next year, which added all together is 310 gold. So probably not going to be keeping them for a full year after I hire them. So alternatively, I could just tank the waiting period. We should eventually have enough troops that we could handle this. So anyways, I guess we should probably start the timer and start waiting. We get enough money, perhaps we can afford to get an extra duchy to increase the domain and thus increase the amount of soldiers. While we're waiting, I'm thinking, why don't we take a look around at the world. So there's this guy who's been leaving a lot of comments. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name right now, but you know who you are. There have been a lot of questions. Sorry, I haven't responded to all of them. Some of them actually didn't appear in my Google Plus notifications box, so I didn't read them till days after they were relevant. Looks like I lost that siege here in Ulster. But, okay, let's see. One of them was about Iceland. I'm not sure about the relevance of it, but here's Iceland. Ah, there's the inevitable. I will not be blackmailed. Okay. This is really bad for us. Now we have to fight Vikings alongside everything else. Let's see. So at the moment, the army I have raised is about 750. It's not large enough for me to add the mercs to, but it should be large enough to defeat these rebels. This islander revolt. But then what I would end up having is just further set back on my path towards victory in Scotland. But whatever, once this happens, I'll finally be able to revoke those titles from those pesky Vikings. So let's see. That's Iceland. They're still the way they started, still independent. Here are some relevant things here that I noticed earlier. The Curonians have actually been expanding, which I am ecstatic about. It looks like the new Curonian king, Codere Panicus, which I found out Panicus is actually a real royal family of tribal Curonians. They were called the Curonian kings, the royal families of the tribal Curonians, and Panicus is one of the oldest ones, and I find that really cool. So it looks like he went and conquered Livonia and Belarus. As you can see, he has both those titles plus the Curonians, so that's pretty cool. Khazaria, oh, I forgot to mention, both Khazaria and Semyon are attacking with holy wars, and surprisingly, they're actually fucking winning. Now with Khazaria, this doesn't surprise me because they have a pretty strong position when they start, though they're actually attacking the Petchings, whom, in my experience, are one of the toughest enemies in the region just because they have the most event-spawn troops. But he's attacking them, and he's winning. What's more surprising is for Semyon here, who's attacking the much larger Kingdom of Abyssinia, which, I'd like to point out, is of the predominant religion in the region, with a holy war, and he is kicking their teeth in. I never expected that. Whenever you play this game, Semyon is always one of the first things to go. I mean, they're a tiny Jewish duchy. Well, historically, they're actually a kingdom, but it's a duchy-level title. Just nestled, completely surrounded by Oriental Orthodox people who always immediately ravenously invade, but they're actually winning in a fucking holy war against Abyssinia. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, that's the update of the world news. And I guess at this point I should deal with this rebellion that's fomenting within my borders. Are you fucking kidding me? Although actually I can see these carrying for the vultures and there are only 51 of them. Can I don't see why I don't get to raise any soldiers. Okay. Wealth, as far as wealth goes, we're not making that much money anymore. Hopefully we have enough that we could handle shit when shit needs to be handled. For now, though, we desperately need to not take many casualties. It looks like... Hold it. We lost another siege in Ulster. So it looks like we lost one soldier. That's one soldier too many. We don't have enough... Are you fucking kidding me? Okay. We are going to need to fucking delay this invasion of the Isle of Man. I can't have people... I can't have raiders fucking sieging down my capital holding. Now, if they're smart, they'll probably immediately jump on their boat and head back to Yarnburland. And it looks like they're not. They're not doing that. We've got 4 days to escape. I don't want to fight you, but I can't afford to let you... Why the fuck are you raiding me? I mean, I guess probably for the gold. They're not leaving. We're gonna fight them. God damn it, we're fighting them. I didn't want to fight them. I don't have the troops for long, drawn-out battles. We can't afford this level of troop loss. Okay, so those guys are finally moving out of Ulster. Good. You pricks need to die. God, we're at... Why are we fighting so many people? And why am I doing this while I really need to take a piss? And there's more than 24 soldiers down the shitter.